Hi there guys, and welcome to Cyclades, an excellent little strategy game which cleverly blends different genres, and it's one of the most unique games I've played recently, and I thoroughly recommend it. So let's take a look at it. The aim of Cyclades is to build two metropolises on your islands, and as you can see, depending on the amount of players, up to 5 people can play, and the board flips over to give you a larger playing area when there's more of you. But you're basically building these metropolises, and you have to build them onto your islands. The first person to build 2 metropolises is the winner, and these can be built in a variety of ways. You can either build them by collecting one of these 4 buildings: a port, a temple, a fortress, and a university, and these will occasionally give you combat bonuses when you're in battle. More on that in a moment. So you can build that way. If you get enough of these cards here, these philosophers, if you get 4 of these, you automatically create one. Alternatively, if you see one on the board, like for example if you see one here, you can build ships over to neighbouring islands and hopefully win in a die battle to basically retrieve one. So it's quite interesting because there's obviously there's all these different mechanics at play. However, before you can actually build these things, you need to basically make offerings to the gods to try and get their favour. And there's 4 gods in the game, and the 4 gods all do different things. We have Ares, the god of war. He will grant you, if you make a successful offering to him, he will grant you at least 1 unit, and then you can buy additional units for gold costs. There's Athena. She gives you a philosopher, which is obviously needed for the metropolises, and you've got the option of paying 4 gold for an additional philosopher. Alternatively, as with Ares, who has his own building, you can pay 2 gold to buy a building off her. You have Zeus. Now, Zeus doesn't look that good, but he's actually very strong. He grants you the option to have a priest. Now, the more priests you've got, the easier it is to bid, and I'll get onto that in a minute. He also makes monster cards cost less to summon, which again we'll look at in a moment. And then finally you have Poseidon. He's obviously the god of the seas. He grants you boats, and again you've got the option of buying additional boats should you wish to. You can also move boats quicker as well by paying gold. You can do the same with Ares. So at the start of each turn, the turn is randomly determined, and then a set number of gods are also used based on the number of people playing. So if there's 3 people playing, you shuffle all the tiles and you take 2 of them and you place them up here on the board, and this will show the order in the turns that the gods will activate. So the first player makes a bid on the god he wants, and again you can only bid based on the amount of coins you have. So say for example the first player really wants to use Poseidon to start building up his boats to go to other islands. He puts down a 4. Now the second person, he's got an option now. He can either go straight to Poseidon and bid more, or immediately forcing the original person to go elsewhere, or he can bid on Zeus, or he can come down to Apollo at the end. Now Apollo is effectively a missed turn. What he does is he grants you a gold piece and he gives you a cornucopia. The cornucopia is then placed on your board, and then at the beginning of your turn, based on the amount of cornucopias you have on your islands, that's how much starting gold you start with. And obviously the more gold you have, the more options are available to you throughout the game. Once obviously everybody has bid, you then basically go down the board in order, and everybody activates. So the player who bid on Poseidon gets his ships, gets the option to buy more ships, and also you can activate monsters. Now, monsters do all sorts of things. They can they're normally a hindrance. You can do things like summon up giant krakens. You can do things like immobilize enemy fleets, take players off the board. Some of the monsters are represented by cool things like this kraken. So then, when he's used, he will eat whatever's on the board in the place you want, and then he'll stay there. Effectively, nothing can go on. Nothing can go through that space, and then when a player pulls a Kraken card again, they get the option to move them elsewhere. And in total, there's 5 monsters which are represented by figures. They normally stay in place for a round, and they can grant a great bonus. And that's effectively a turn. It's very straightforward. There's little to no downtime. You're not really waiting around for everybody to take their turns because you've only got a few options available to you. So it's just a case of getting through them as quickly as possible. And it's an interesting game because you can be doing things like building up your armies ready to invade, knowing that obviously until you get the relevant card, you're not going to be able to do anything. And it's just really clever because it straddles different genres, but it does them both very well. The bidding side of it is very fairly done. It can get quite ruthless, especially obviously because you use these shields to hide money, so you never know exactly how much cash somebody's got. And then towards the end of the game, all of a sudden there'll be huge bids going down as you're trying to get. Maybe you need Ares to try and take back that settlement, or maybe a person wants Ares to obviously stop you doing that very thing. And you're looking about an hour's playtime. It's not too expensive either. You can get it for around 35 quid. It plays roughly around an hour and a half. Obviously that play will go up if there's more people playing, and a maximum of 5 people can play. It's been out for a while, but it's dripping in theme, which I really love about it. Oh, I've forgotten these cards. As I mentioned earlier, the more of these guys you get, they represent a bid. And so, for example, when you bid in here, although you bid 3, you only end up paying 2. So obviously, the more of these guys you get, the better you stand in a bidding war. The figures themselves are absolutely fantastic. Really well detailed. You can't see on this camera, it's so rubbish. Really well detailed. All the figures are actually different as well for no other reason than, well, I guess because it looks cool. You've got things like the money. The money looks excellent. The cards are of good, high quality, and overall, it's just a fantastic, well put together package. If you like games which are dripping in theme, if you like games which obviously have auctioning, have a fair amount of strategy, then I heartily recommend Cyclades. It's an excellent little game, and well, I can see this being one of my favourite games of the year, even though I bought it last year, but I've only started playing it this year. This is Darren Jones from Gaming Unplugged UK. Obviously, if you like the channel, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe, if you could basically give comments, give me advice on my videos. That would be absolutely brilliant. And also be sure to check out my blog, which I'll put on the which is a link on the actual page. So thanks very much for your time. I'll be back with more videos soon. Take care, guys.